So if you imagine when the motor comes back to Enjuku Racing, the next thing on the list is to put it in the car, put the front mount on it, put the turbo on it, build the wastegates, build the downpipes. I mean, just finish it. My motor package was not like a kit you buy off the shelf, and this pipe goes here, and this pipe goes here, and the turbo goes here. All of this stuff is more like handcrafted. Bub wanted the turbo in this exact location for this exact reason, and then JT came through with a box of Vibrant parts and built and bent and created everything you see to meet where Bub wanted the components to be. Vibrant Performance really believes in our program, and they send us what we need to make this happen, and that's obviously something that we don't take for granted. Although it's piping and although it's clamps and it's stuff that you don't see externally, internally it's really, really important, and I thank them a lot for that because that shit's expensive. JT kills it with creating angles and piping, and he's just a really professional fabricator, and that just takes our program to the next level. It's almost something you want to make fun of. It's almost something that you want to go, this is going on a drift car and why? Like, it's that good and that much quality goes into it. That just comes from working with great people. The wastegates coming out the hood, that's pretty new for me and cool, and some of the most appealing aspects to drifting is the noise and hearing the car like bang rev limiter. I really want people to hear where my throttle control is and to hear how on throttle I am on some of these courses. Unfortunately, with my setup, being that it's an LS, being that it's a single turbo, it's quiet. I mean, you put a turbo on any motor and it quiets the motor down. So the wastegates going out the hood was just purely to create more noise. It allowed JT to flex a little bit on the fabricational side of things. It allowed the motor to just look a little bit more gnarly, and that's what we're here for, you know, to have fun and just show off all of our skills individually, from fabrication to driving to the engine package being as complex as it is. And this year we really got it figured out, man. The car's running great. What's cool for me is sometimes I look at this stuff and I'm like, there's no way, like, how's that gonna fit? How are you gonna put that in front of this but behind this? And it would be a huge challenge for myself and my skill set to do that, but it was really cool to watch Bub and them figure it out. These dudes built a cradle to hold it, and then JT came in and threw all the piping and all the angles in to make it fit to the front mount, and it fit in there. The end of the 2015 season at Irwindale, when I hit the wall and then we came back and everything, you know, that whole storm happened. And after that, I was able to meet Patrick from PB Creations. Patrick pretty much approached me, yo Nate, what's up? I see you got a blank white helmet. He wanted to work on putting inspiration on the helmet, and I've always wanted a race helmet to be painted, so that's what happened. I have a certain direction that I'm trying to head, and Patrick has a certain style that he puts into his work. Those two things combined, we created the helmet. Damn, dude, this shit's like pretty much what I was looking for, and then I got the inspiration on the back. And then this dude paired it with a custom Hans painted. You know, the 144 graphic, which is my number, which is here to stay, Enjuku Racing. And it almost has a classic Falcon tire approach to the colorway. I was moving from Texas to Florida, and that was really my inspiration of the season. Was I'm making a change in my program, I'm working with really good people. That's really where that all comes from. And then on the back of the helmet, the Stay Sideways is a classic George Lopez, Texas drifting, you know, hometown vibe. The helmet is what protects me. I mean, it's literally like one of the finer things that us drivers get to always keep and remember. And so literally I was just using it more as a timestamp, something that I will be able to look back on in the future and know that that was the year that this happened, and it's got some cool colorway on it. I'll be able to remember it forever, and we're gonna keep moving. Bub, what is it called that we were building the headers with? The little orange?
Oh, the Lego
Here,
kits.
come on in, Bub, just tell him.
Here, it's Friday.
Dang, thank you.
The Lego kits.
The Lego kits. So when we're building those manifolds with a Lego kit, that's the way to word it.
Header Lego kits.
Okay. Basically, Tommy has this like Lego kit, if you will, that allows the fabricators to see the angles, and really it's kind of like drawing it out before you have to build it. And then once they can see that configuration and they know they need a 45 here and a 30 here, then they're able to actually go do the work with the metal and create the manifolds. We're running the same dock manifolds from 2015, but basically the way we move stuff around in the engine bay, we just wanted to take the manifolds and move them away from the motor as much as possible for heat. So that's really what you've seen there. Those guys just recreating some of the configuration, so we just kind of open up room for maintenance and stuff like that. These guys, you know, pretty much every season are trying to benefit with heat and everything like that. So like what you're seeing when we're wrapping the headers in the DEI, like heat wrap, it's just basically it contains the heat as much as possible. So it's not really like sending the heat anywhere else. It's kind of just containing the heat so it's not directly just spilling out everywhere. You guys seen that the manifolds got chopped, recreated. We wrapped them in the DEI heat wrap and continued on. Anytime you do full builds like this and you're pulling everything out and putting everything in, and especially with Bub wiring the cars up by hand, there's been a lot going on. I mean, I think last week the motor went in, cleaned out all the brakes, rebuilt all the calipers, front and rear, my car, Kevin's car, the whole rear geometry, suspension, Wisefab's new for me this season. I mean, really just the entire car is really coming together. Bub's done a lot of planning, and now we're kind of seeing everything unfold and just come together. So it's kind of cool. It's like this whole week has flown by, but we're just living in this shop until these cars are up and running. Literally, these dudes are like plumbing everything. So every fuel line, water line, feeding the turbo, all the wiring, throwing the dash in, throw the seats in. That's kind of where we're headed next. Mount up a bunch of Falcon tires on some Koenig rims, and then we should be able to put these things on the ground, do an alignment, and then head to the dyno. Essentially, we're just trying to make sure that nothing's leaking, the wiring's all correct, and going to the dyno just lets you see all those numbers. So we're here at Enjuku Racing. We have approximately 2 days to get my car and Kevin's car started, running, and in that case, we're heading to Tampa on Monday. Yep.
That seems good.
I'm about to take a photo of you taking a photo of me. Got it.
Well, I'm filming. So
Oh, you're filming. We're live. We lit the car up today for the first time. Finally, she came alive and started up, and that was awesome. It's my first time to be here and watch the whole build come to life, but from cleaning it, to powder coating it, to wiring it, to then asking me to start it up. It's just, that's kind of cool, you know, and I'm really grateful for Bub and all his work, and it's just really cool that Enjuku has me here and I'm able to see all that happen. Personally, I'm learning a shit ton about the car, which I think will in turn give me the confidence to drive it better. We got the cars up and running and that went really, really well. Not a lot of issues. Some fuel leaked last night. Stayed up super late, got all that stuff sorted out, and then rolled it off the lift finally and put it on the alignment rack. So that's our next task tonight, align the cars, and then we head to Tampa tomorrow to do the dyno. Maybe. Once the car's up to its weight, from there pretty much you go straight to the board for alignments, ride heights, settings on toe adjustment, and you really just want to make sure nothing's binding and all the components are kind of freely moving. Bub was able to give Fortunato the exact lengths that he wants from the container to the coilover. So all of that was really kind of pre-thought out. For me and Kevin this season, they custom built the entire coilover, and all of that was really tailor fitted to our program, which was really, really awesome. That's the stuff that makes the car really comfortable, and that was one of the things I know was when I was able to jump in the car, I got a lot of like immediate comfortability out of it. And with Bub's past knowledge in racing and with us running Formula Drift, we're able to specifically say, oh, we're going to Irwindale, there's a big bank, or oh, we're going to OSW, there's this setting that we're trying to accomplish. So just to generally note, the dyno is one of the most nervous times of the whole process. For me, it's always such a holy shit, is this thing gonna stay running approach. The first time you hear the car and it totally pretty much gets the shit beat out of it to make sure that it's ready for the track. That's my first thought when I'm like, we're taking the car to go get it dynoed. I'm like, oh my God. And to also note, dynos always take all night. So if your dyno time's at 5 o'clock, don't plan on going home until 5 o'clock the next morning. You spend all the time building the car, and then pretty much when the car is built and ready for the dyno, you can see the track day coming. So anytime you know you're going to the track to test, and you can see that gap, which is like, I have 2 days before I'm going testing, and we're dynoing. That's always a pretty nerve-wracking experience. So for us, we went down to Tampa to RS Entropy to see Martin. It was my first time to meet Martin. Martin's one of those guys that I see as a guru in motors, you know what I mean? There's those guys that never leave the shop. If it's 2 a.m., you call him, you need a question, that's Martin. My goal as a driver was to make sure that the car stayed together. Like, to make sure the motor stayed together. That's my goal. The goal was make sure the motor doesn't have any of the issues from 2015, have Martin run it really, really hard in order for me to have the confidence to run it hard on the track. When you talk about motors running, high rev, low rev, all that stuff, air, fuel, it's like a formula that makes a result. Those guys dug way into the details, and they did a great job. I was really pumped on the results, man. The car made a lot of power, and it stayed cool. And the thing I set my sights on after that was testing. You have to imagine that with drifting, me and Kevin are highly involved in the entire program. Once the car was done with the dyno, I was able to almost just put all of that behind me and then focus on driving. And that's what I really love to do.